Right now, take off one sock, just one. Look at the skin where the elastic sat all day. If you can see a clear indentation pressed into your calf, a groove that stays there for 30 seconds, a minute, sometimes 5 minutes, before the skin finally smooths back out, I need you to keep watching. Because what you are looking at is not a sock problem. It is not a salt problem. And despite what almost every person over 60 has been told, in 70% of cases, it is not a heart problem either. It is a drainage problem, and the organ responsible is the one nobody ever bothered to explain to you. I'm William W. Lee, a world-renowned physician, scientist, speaker, and author, best known for leading the Angiogenesis Foundation. My work has impacted over 70 diseases, including cancer, diabetes, heart disease, and obesity. The water is already in your leg right now, maybe half a liter, maybe a full liter, pooled quietly in the tissues around your ankle and calf while you sat today. And tonight, when you lie down, that water is going to do something to your body that ruins your sleep, stresses your heart, and accelerates every problem you are already trying to manage. Let me show you exactly what is happening inside that ankle and the 5-minute habit that drains it before bed. You know, the moment I am talking about, you come home, you peel off your shoes, and there they are. The ankles that look thicker than they did this morning. The calves that feel tight and heavy. The rings on your fingers that suddenly refuse to come off. You press your thumb into the skin above your ankle bone and watch it leave a little white crater that takes forever to fill back in. You stand up from the couch after an hour of sitting, and your legs feel like someone poured concrete into them while you were not looking. And when you mention this at a doctor's appointment, what happens? You get asked about your heart. You get told to cut salt. You get a prescription for a diuretic, a moderatio and tursa a water pill that makes you run to the bathroom all day. For some people, that helps a little. For most people over 60, it does almost nothing, because the water was never in your bloodstream in the first place. The water was in the tissues, and a diuretic cannot reach tissues. It can only pull water out of blood. So you have been treating the wrong compartment. Let me fix that. Your body has 2 drainage networks, not one. Most people only know about the first, blood. Arteries carry fresh blood out, veins carry used blood back. That system has a pump, your heart. It runs automatically every second of your life, whether you help it or not. The second network is called the lymphatic system. And here is what nobody sat you down and explained. It has no pump. None. Zero. Your lymph is a clear, pale yellow fluid that constantly leaks out of the tiny blood vessels in your tissues. It bathes your cells, picks up cellular waste, dead bacteria, excess protein, and excess water. Then it has to be returned to the bloodstream through a completely separate set of vessels, lymph capillaries and lymph ducts, 2 liters of it every single day. But those lymph vessels have no heart attached. They move only when you move. Think of your lymph system as a conveyor belt that only runs when you put weight on it. Every step you take, every calf muscle contraction, every ankle flex, squeezes the lymph vessels and pushes the fluid upward. Stop moving, stop draining. Sit for 3 hours and the belt stops entirely. The fluid just sits in your ankles doing nothing. When you are 30 years old, this is not a serious problem. The lymph vessels are elastic. The valves inside them are tight and crisp. A single walk across the parking lot restarts the whole system within minutes. But after 63 things change at once. The lymph vessels stiffen, the valves begin to leak, and the tissue around the ankles, the loose connective matrix that holds everything in place, starts to lose its own elasticity. Fluid seeps out faster and the system drains it slower. The math stops working and the reservoir grows. Before I go any further, I need to pause and draw a clear line. There are situations where ankle swelling is not a lymph problem. In a side or E, it is a genuine medical emergency. You need to recognize these and see a doctor today if any of the following apply to you. If one leg suddenly swells dramatically more than the other within a few hours and it is painful, warm, and red, that can indicate a blood clot in the deep veins. It is dangerous. Get seen today. If both legs swell and you are having trouble breathing, especially when you lie flat, if you wake up gasping at night, or if you cannot walk a flight of stairs without stopping, that pattern points to serious heart strain. That is not something to manage at home. If swelling comes with sudden weight gain of 4 or 5 pounds in a single week and foamy urine, that combination suggests the kidneys are letting protein escape. That needs blood work this week, not next month. And if swelling appears only on one side, is painless, feels hard to the touch, and occurs in someone with a history of cancer treatment in that region, it can indicate lymph node blockage that needs evaluation. If none of those describe you, if you're stiker or star, if you're star, either I, if you're stadio, if your swelling is gradual, symmetrical, worse by evening, better by morning, and you have no breathing trouble at rest, then what I am about to walk you through is for you. There are essentially three patterns of chronic lower leg swelling after 60. They look similar to the eye, but they have completely different causes. Pattern 1 is venous. Your veins are struggling to return blood to the heart. Valves inside the veins have failed. Blood pools, pressure rises, and water is forced out through the vessel walls. You will usually see visible varicose veins, a brownish discoloration on the shin just above the ankle, and swelling that gets dramatically worse after a full day of standing. Pattern 2 is lymphatic. This is the one I am focused on today. Lymph flow has slowed. The tissue is saturated. The swelling is soft, leaves a pit when you press it, feels puffy rather than tight, and often involves the top of the foot, the psoas and her and the part that sits right behind the toes. When lymph swelling has been going on for years, the skin on the top of the foot becomes so thick you cannot pinch it between two fingers. That is a clinical sign, and it points strongly at lymph, not veins. Pattern 3 is cardiac or renal. Your heart or kidneys are not managing fluid properly. The swelling is symmetric, worsens through the day, and critically comes with other symptoms: shortness of breath, waking up multiple times to urinate, extreme fatigue, or rapid weight gain. If you have those companion symptoms, you are in pattern 3. That is not a home protocol. You need a proper workup. Most people over 60 with chronic evening ankle swelling and no other symptoms fall into pattern 2, lymph. Let me tell you about a patient I will call Dorothy. She was 68 years old, a retired school teacher who had lived in the same house for 30 years. She walked into my clinic convinced her heart was failing. For 2 years, her ankles had been thickening by evening. At first, just a little, then enough that she could no longer wear the shoes she had always worn. She bought wider shoes. The swelling progressed. She mentioned it at a checkup, and an echocardiogram was ordered. The heart looked fine. Her ejection fraction, the percentage of blood the heart pumps out with each beat, was 62%, completely normal. But Dorothy was still swelling. She was given a diuretic. She took it for 6 months. She ran to the bathroom constantly. The ankle swelling barely changed. She was exhausted, dehydrated, and still swollen. Then she said one thing that unlocked the whole picture. The strange thing is, when I travel and walk around all day, my ankles are actually better. That was the clue. Her swelling improved with movement and worsened with sitting. Her heart was fine. Her kidneys were fine. Her veins on ultrasound showed only mild age-related changes. What Dorothy had was a lymphatic drainage problem that no pill could fix, because the fluid was not in her bloodstream. It was in her tissues. Here is what happens to Dorothy's body every single day, and probably yours. She wakes up. Ankles look thin. She has been lying flat for 8 hours. Gravity was not pulling fluid down into her legs, and her lymph system had all night to mostly clear the reservoir from the day before. By morning, she is almost back to baseline. She gets up, has breakfast, sits at the kitchen table for an hour, sits in the car for 20 minutes, sits at her volunteer desk for 3 hours, has lunch, sits again. By 2 in the afternoon, she has been vertical but mostly immobile for 7 hours. Fluid has been slowly leaking from her capillaries into the tissue of her lower legs the entire time. Her calf muscles have barely contracted. The lymph conveyor belt has barely moved. The fluid accumulates quietly, a titsui arskate endors, a teaspoon at a time, into a reservoir she cannot see. By evening, the groove appears where her sock sat. By 9 o'clock, the ring on her finger is tight. By 10 o'clock, she lies down, and now the real problem begins. All that accumulated fluid in her ankles, now that gravity is no longer pulling it down, begins to slowly reabsorb into her bloodstream. Her heart receives an unexpected flood. Her kidneys detect the extra volume and shift into overdrive, producing urine. She wakes up at 2, at 4, at 5 in the morning. By 6, she is exhausted, and the cycle begins again. I want you to do 2 quick tests right now. They take 30 seconds total. Test 1, the pit test. Find the bony ridge along the front of your shin about 4 inches above your ankle. Press your thumb in firmly. Hold for 15 seconds. Lift your thumb and look. If there is a visible indentation that takes 10 seconds or more to smooth out, you have what clinicians call pitting edema. Grade 1 is a slight dent. Grade 2 is a deeper dent lasting longer. Grade 3 is a deep dent lasting over a minute. Make a note of your grade. You will retest in 2 weeks and the difference will be measurable. Test 2, the foot skin pinch. Try to pinch the skin on the top of your foot just behind your second toe between your thumb and forefinger. If you can easily lift the skin into a fold, your lymph is moving. If you cannot lift the skin at all, if it feels fused to the foot beneath, you have a more advanced lymphatic saturation. Clinically, this is called a positive stemmer sign, and it is one of the simplest indicators of chronic lymph congestion that exists. Now let me tell you about 3 things that make lymph swelling worse. Most people over 60 do all 3 daily without realizing it. The first is hidden sodium. Not the salt shaker, the hidden stuff. Cheese, cured meats, canned soup, bread, condiments, restaurant food, frozen meals. Sodium pulls water out of your bloodstream and into your tissues. Your body will hold approximately 4 cups of water for every gram of excess sodium. Most adults over 60 consume twice the sodium they think they do. The second is sitting after dinner. The hours between 7 and 10 at night when when you finally relax in the recliner are the hours when your legs accumulate the most fluid. 3 hours of immobility after your largest meal creates the worst possible conditions for overnight reabsorption. The third is alcohol. A single glass of wine in the evening dilates your capillaries, increases the leak rate from vessels into tissues, and suppresses the hormone your brain uses to tell your kidneys to slow down at night. One drink and your ankles will be noticeably worse by morning. Now let me tell you about what actually supports lymph flow. Water. I know this sounds counterintuitive. Most people with swelling drink less water because they believe more water means more swelling. The opposite is true. Dehydration thickens lymph, making it sluggish and harder to move. A well-hydrated body has thin, free-flowing lymph. Aim for roughly half your body weight in ounces, spread throughout the day, tapering after 5 in the afternoon. Foods rich in natural flavonoids, contain and aistiperis, suicidalmatri, and sadadinori, and compounds that strengthen the walls of small blood vessels and reduce capillary leak. The best sources are dark berries, buckwheat, citrus peel, and red cabbage. A cup of berries a day has measurable effects on capillary integrity over about 8 weeks. Protein. This one surprises people. Low blood protein, specifically low albumin, is one of the silent drivers of tissue swelling in older adults. Albumin is a protein that holds water inside your blood vessels. When it is low, water leaks out into tissues and stays there. Many older adults are mildly protein deficient without knowing it. 2 servings of high-quality protein per day, eggs, fish, chicken, lentils, cottage cheese, directly improves the physics of fluid balance. Magnesium. Most people over 60 are deficient in it, and it plays a direct role in smooth muscle tone, including the walls of lymph vessels. Pumpkin seeds, dark leafy greens, and almonds are the easiest food sources. Now I want to walk you through the 5-minute habit that drains your ankles before bed. This is the core of everything I have shared today. Every part matters. In the morning before your feet hit the floor while you are still lying in bed due to and do 30 ankle pumps. Point your toes down, then flex them back up toward your face 30 times. This takes 45 seconds. It restarts lymph flow after 8 hours of stillness and prevents fluid from rushing downward the moment you stand. During the day, every hour you are sitting, do 20 calf pumps. Heels on the floor, pump the toes upward and back down. Or if you can stand, rise up onto the balls of your feet and drop back down 20 times. This takes 30 seconds. Set a timer if you have to. It keeps the conveyor belt moving so fluid does not get a chance to accumulate. Before dinner, take 5 minutes of slow walking. Not a workout, just movement. Around the block, around the house, around the yard. Walking activates the deep calf muscles in a way that seated ankle pumps simply cannot replicate. Then comes the critical piece, 90 minutes before bed. Lie on the floor or on your bed. Place your legs straight up against the wall at roughly a 90-degree angle. Your heels higher than your hips higher than your heart. Stay there for 15 minutes. During those 15 minutes, do slow ankle circles, 10 in each direction. Then alternating ankle flexes, 20 repetitions. Then, while still inverted, place both hands flat on your abdomen and breathe deeply through your nose, belly rising, for 3 full minutes. Slow, deep belly breathing activates the thoracic duct, the main drainage vessel of your entire lymph system, which sits right behind your diaphragm. Every deep breath is literally pumping your lymph. After 15 minutes, slowly roll to your side, sit up, and do something unglamorous but remarkably effective. Starting at your ankle, use the flat of your fingers to stroke the skin upward toward your knee. Slow, gentle, always toward the heart, never downward. 10 strokes on each leg. This is a simplified form of what is clinically called manual lymphatic drainage. It physically moves fluid from the tissues into the lymph capillaries, where the system can carry it away. Right after this sequence, you will feel the need to urinate. You will release 300 to 400 milliliters of pale urine. That is the fluid that otherwise would have woken you at 2 in the morning. You just drained it while you were awake and in control. Dorothy followed this protocol for 3 weeks. By the end of week 1, her sock marks were gone by morning. By the end of week 2, she was sleeping through the night. By the end of week 3, her ankles at 9 in the evening looked the way they used to look at 9 in the morning. Her echocardiogram had not changed. Her prescriptions had not changed. What changed was that her lymph system was finally being given its work shift at a time that suited her life, instead of being forced to scramble all night while she tried to sleep. Here are 5 things to do tonight. 1. Do the PIT test right now. Know your grade. Write it down. 2. Cut 1 source of hidden sodium tomorrow. The biggest offenders for most people are cheese, cured meat, and canned soup. Pick the one you eat most often and replace it for 2 weeks. 3. Before dinner tonight, take a 5-minute walk. Not later, before dinner. 4. 90 minutes before bed, legs up the wall for 15 minutes. Deep belly breathing for 3 of those minutes. 10 upward strokes on each calf when you get up. 5. Tomorrow morning, 30 ankle pumps before your feet hit the floor. Do this for 2 weeks. Retest the PIT test. You will be startled by the change. Your ankles are not betraying you. They are a drainage system that stopped receiving the signals it needed to run. Give it 5 minutes a day, and the difference is not subtle. It is the kind of change you see in the mirror, feel in your shoes, and notice the first morning you wake up without pressing your thumb into your calf just to check. If someone you love has ankles that swell by evening, share this with them. They have almost certainly been told it is their heart. They have almost certainly been handed a pill that does not address the real mechanism. You may give them the explanation nobody ever bothered to give them. That is what this work has always been about for me. Giving people the precise, evidence-based understanding of their own body that changes not just their symptoms, but the way they live.